Welcome to our video on the new features in Color 8 and Color Video 2. This video covers the functions that have been added to both programs. We're starting with the changes and enhancements in the RAW module. I've already loaded an image and I'll open the RAW module up here. Straight away we can see these categories we can switch on and off here, and the artificial intelligence category down here with different filters. I'll activate a couple of them quickly, maybe add a bit of sunset to the image or convert it to winter colors. And this topic of artificial intelligence in the RAW module has its own video, which I highly recommend watching. So let's close the RAW module again and move straight on to other new features that we can find in image preparation. I open that under Extras, Image Preparation. Up here we have the option for integrating correction images into the image loading function. That's dark frames and flat frames. This topic also has its own dedicated video explaining how it all works. Further down, we have another really important new feature. We can now select a raw profile right here in image preparation and apply this raw profile that we created earlier directly while importing our images. These two functions for correction images and raw profiles for importing images are obviously only available in the photo program. This raw profile also gets its own video. Let's go a little deeper into the settings. In the languages area here, we can find several new languages for anyone who's interested. We now have French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, Polish, Portuguese, Dutch, and Chinese, which is simplified Chinese. So anyone who wants to work in another language is welcome to do so. Now let's change the image and move on to the next step. Let's choose this image. A few sun loungers on a tropical beach. Chance would be a fine thing. And with this image, I firstly want to look up here at this new toolbar in the finalize area and expert mode. Now we can press the minus button to hide all the interface areas and then just activate the ones we want right now. The magnifying glass, selective drawing, color module, and maybe the LUT module, or the module with the pre-installed artificial intelligence filters. You can have your own custom configuration, and when you close the program and reopen it, it opens up again with exactly these settings. So you can set up your own completely tailored interface. Let's turn all the modules back on with the plus sign and go over here to the left to the presets. I want to show you loads of new presets that have been added, about 60 in total. Let's go to the drawing category here. And the new presets are always down here at the very end of the category. Why is that? Very simple. Because you already know the order of the presets from the previous version, and to keep that familiarity, we've put the new presets at the bottom. If we now take a look at the style effect, we're here in the artistic area with the pointillism drawings. And if we have a look and switch to expert mode, we can see here in selected filters that this effect combines several effects. And at the bottom of the effect chain, we can see the effect AI, artwork, pointillism. We can see this new effect category up here, highlighted in blue, in the list of available filters. There are loads of new effects, 24 AI effects in total. Let's turn off the color space, the finalization assistant, and magnifying glass here. So we can only see expert mode, which is what we want. And these AI effects also come with loads of parameters. Here, for example, we could change the brush size used from very small to very large, and the amount of details to be recreated by this artistic effect. There are loads of settings to choose from. Let's go to the next category, to the light effects. Here again, the new effects are all at the bottom. One example are the neon light effects. They're really popular. Maybe we'll add some stars to the image. The image has been converted to black and white here by the color luminosity. We can switch that off again, then we can see the color again. or the bokeh hearts, which you can select in the bokeh light effects here. There are several textures to choose from. Let's choose the red hearts up here. Perfect for making postcards, greeting cards, and that kind of thing. In the effects area, in expert mode, there are 24 new AI effects and 15 new normal effects. Color tone shift in the RYB color space, that's the Goethe color space. Various bokeh effects, sparklers, soft focus, motif frames, color schemes, and much more. There are loads of new additions and lots to explore. Now let's load another image, this time a portrait. And with this portrait, I'd like to show you the new functions you can find in selective drawing. To do that, I'll switch on all the effects here and then scroll down. That's how it looks when everything is on, all the modules. Let's open selective drawing and let's go straight to composing. That's the fourth button here. Activate the first composing mask. Nothing happens at first. The mask is just ready for editing. And here we see above this composing image in this chessboard pattern, directly above that, there are 4 new buttons. And they're the standard image collections, which are new. There are background images, skies, color splashes, laser effects. Let's choose walls and textures. Select a texture effect and load it from the collection. As I said, these images come installed with the program and are free to use. And initially, nothing happens because the image is just activated. And then I invert the mask. We can paint over it with the brush here, turn the mask view off. Or we can use the mask function and invert it so the mask is applied to the whole image. Then we can see our texture that we loaded from the collection is completely overlaid over the current image. If I right-click, we can see the original image underneath. Now, I go to the layer calculation. There are loads of new layer calculations here, including multiply brightness, which works really well for these effects. That creates a really nice result. That isn't completely perfect yet, and I'll show you why now. Because this texture overlay is initially just placed on top. It's missing any distortion of the texture on the image. And to do that, we now have the new distortion module for horizontal and vertical distortion. That lets us adapt our superimposed image to the composing image, which makes it much more convincing. We can also change other settings like the contrast to adjust the depth a little, maybe turn down the exposure a bit for this texture. And down here, there's a new block where we can separately control the brightness of highlights and shadows and the color balloons. Let's add a bit of blue to the textured image here. That all works in real time. And if you want, you can also use your own images, of course. Let's choose a fabric texture here and apply it over the image. We've adjusted the color here a little. Let's reset that and reset the exposure again. And now we can clearly see how this distortion works and the effect it has on the image, how much of an impact it makes if we use this distortion wisely in our image. If you want to turn down the intensity, you can see that the distortion is also adjusted accordingly. So it's not just the intensity, but also the intensity or strength of the distortion that is factored in. Once we've chosen a look, I'd like to show you another important feature we've added, and that's the replace current image function. We can find it under File, Replace Current Image. We are now shown a message stating that the resolution of the new imported image should be the same as the resolution of the old one, so that the aspect ratios match. We confirm this and now choose another portrait. That doesn't initially seem to be that spectacular, just loading another image. But this replace current image function takes all the work steps completed in your project and applies them to the new image. We can therefore transfer project settings to a number of images in this way. Down here we can also see that an undo point has been created with the previous image. That means that here in this project I'm working on, I can also return to the previous image. An undo step is also then created along with the new image. And now I have both variants with identical settings ready for me to work on. I hope I could give you some insight into these new features. There are many more to discover. I hope you enjoy trying them out.